Have you ever had that unsettling feeling? That little whisper in your gut telling you something is off in a relationship? You see the smiles, you hear the words of affection, but deep down it feels hollow, like you're watching a performance. What if I told you that what you were sensing wasn't a lack of love, but the presence of something else entirely? Fear. They didn't love you the way they acted. They feared you. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But think about it. They feared your intuition. That uncanny ability you have to sense a lie before it's even fully formed. They feared your strength. The resilience that lets you get back up no matter how many times life knocks you down. Most of all, they feared your ability to see the patterns, the subtle inconsistencies in their stories, the cracks in the mask they wore so carefully. Their affection was the mask, a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep you close but not too close. It was a tool to manage you, to control your perception of them. But their fear, oh, that was real. That was the raw, unfiltered emotion leaking through the edges of their act. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on this unsettling dynamic. You'll discover the subtle signs that someone else's love is actually a cover for their fear of you. We'll explore why people who pretend to love you are often the ones most threatened by your very essence. And most importantly, we'll talk about the profound shift that happens when you finally learn to recognize the difference. It's a realization that can change everything. Let's start by understanding why your strength becomes a threat to certain people. When you're a person who is self-aware, who works on yourself, and who has a strong sense of who you are, you become a mirror. And for someone who is insecure, deeply flawed and unwilling to face their own issues, that mirror is terrifying. They see your integrity and it reflects their lack of it. They see your emotional honesty and it highlights their own deception. So, how do they cope? They can't attack your strength directly because, on some level, they admire Italiano. It's what drew them to you in the first place, like a moth to a flame. Instead, they try to dim your light. This is where the fake affection comes in. It's a form of control. They shower you with compliments that feel just a little too generic, a little too over. They create a pedestal for you, but it's a wobbly one. They tell you you're so strong, so amazing, so intuitive. But listen closely to the subtext. Often, it's followed by a subtle jab designed to introduce a seed of doubt. You're so intuitive. Sometimes you overthink things, though. Or, you're so strong, but you can be a little intimidating. See what's happening. They're praising the very qualities they fear, but immediately trying to frame them as a negative. It's a classic manipulation tactic. They want you to second-guess your greatest assets. They want you to believe your intuition is just anxiety, that your strength is just aggression, and that your pattern recognition is just you being paranoid. Why? Because if you doubt yourself, you're easier to control. If you're constantly seeking their validation to feel sure of your own reality, they hold the power. Their fear of your clarity drives them to create fog in your mind. Another major sign is the way they react to your success or your happiness that doesn't involve them. A person who genuinely loves you celebrates your victories as if they were their own. Their face lights up. Their energy is genuine. But someone who fears you, your success is a direct threat to their ego. They might offer congratulations, but the words fall flat. You'll see a flicker of something else in their eyes. Envy, resentment, or even panic. They might subtly downplay your achievement. Oh, that's great. You must have gotten lucky. Or they'll immediately pivot the conversation back to themselves and their own problems, stealing the spotlight away from you. Their fear is rooted in a scarcity mindset. They believe that there's only a limited amount of happiness, success, or attention to go around. Your light doesn't inspire them. It makes them feel like they're sitting in the dark. They need to be the center of the universe, the one being admired. When you shine independently of them, it disrupts their narrative and triggers their deepest insecurities. The love they show you is conditional. It's there as long as you're playing a supporting role in their movie. The moment you start starring in your own, the mask slips, and you see the fear and resentment underneath. Now let's talk about your intuition. This is perhaps the thing they fear the most. People who operate behind a mask of deception rely on their ability to control the narrative. They curate an image, a story about who they are, and they need you to believe it. But your intuition cuts right through that. You don't just hear their words, you feel their energy. You notice the slight hesitation, the mismatched body language, the story that doesn't quite add up from last week. When you bring up these inconsistencies, even gently, how do they react? A loving partner would be open to discussion. They'd say, "Oh, did I say that? Maybe I misspoke. Let me clarify." They engage with you to find the truth together, but a person who fears your intuition will react with intense defensiveness. They will gaslight you. They'll tell you, "You're crazy. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive." Or the classic, "I never said that." This isn't just a simple disagreement. It's a desperate attempt to protect their false reality from your truth-seeing gaze. They are terrified of being exposed. Their entire self-worth is built on this fragile house of cards, and your intuition is like a gust of wind that threatens to bring it all crashing down. So they attack the messenger. They try to convince you that your internal compass is broken. The more you trust your gut, the more aggressive their attempts to discredit it become. Their fear isn't just about being caught in a lie. It's about their entire constructed self being annihilated by your perception. They need you to be wrong so they can feel safe in their deception. So what happens when you finally see it? When you stop making excuses for their behavior, stop absorbing their projections, and recognize that what you're seeing isn't love, but fear. It's like a light switch flips on in a dark room. Suddenly, all the confusing moments, all the subtle digs, all the times you felt crazy, they all click into place. You weren't overthinking. You weren't too sensitive. Your intuition was screaming at you the whole time, and you've finally decided to listen. This realization is both liberating and painful. It's painful to accept that the love you thought you had was an illusion. It's a form of grief. You grieve for the relationship you thought you were in, but it is also incredibly empowering. You reclaim your sanity. You stop outsourcing your realities to someone else, and you start trusting yourself again, fully and completely. When you recognize their fear, their power over you evaporates. Their gaslighting no longer works because you see it for what it is, a panic response. Their passive-aggressive comments no longer wound you because you understand they come from a place of insecurity, not truth. You stop trying to win their approval because you realize their approval was never the prize. The real prize is your own self-trust and inner peace. Once you see the fear, you can't unsee it. You start to move differently. You set boundaries, not as a request, but as a declaration of your own worth. You may find yourself becoming quieter around them, observing more than you engage. You are no longer playing their game. This shift will often cause them to escalate their behavior. They might become more loving and desperate in their affection, trying to pull you back into the illusion. Or they might become more openly hostile, as their fear turns to anger now that their mask has been rendered useless. This is the final test. Can you hold on to your newfound clarity even when they're retrying their hardest to pull you back into the fog? This is where your true strength, the very thing they feared all along, comes to your rescue. It's the strength to walk away from a dynamic that was slowly eroding your soul. It's the strength to choose your own peace over their performance. Recognizing that someone feared you instead of loved you is a profound turning point. It's a lesson that teaches you to value genuine connection over grand gestures, and to trust that quiet, steady feeling of safety over the loud, dramatic performance of affection. It teaches you that your intuition is your most loyal guide. Don't ever let anyone convince you to silence it. Your light isn't meant to be dimmed for someone else's comfort. It's meant to shine brightly, guiding you toward people who are not afraid of your glow, but who are happy to stand in it with you and shine right alongside you. Thanks for watching today. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more content on navigating relationships and trusting your inner wisdom. Drop a comment below and let me know if you've ever experienced this. You're not alone. We'll see you in the next one.